And we welcome you to the State Farm Arena here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we have Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals featuring the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. The Heat lead the series 1-0 after a 109-78 victory over the Miami Heat. As we look at the starting lineups for the Heat, for Davion Mitchell, Pelle Larsson, Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware at center. And for the Hawks, for this purposes of this stream, for this series, we got Trae Young, still a Hawk in his universe, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Richazé, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis as well as a Hawk in this series, as the trade deadline for this season playthrough has passed well before either of those got traded. As you see, the Hawks win the tip. Trae Young for three, and he drains it. Trae Young led the Hawks with 24 points. Actually, he was tied for a game high with 24 points with Davion Mitchell. Khalil Ware with it. Dishing it back over to Pelle Larsson. Larsson for three, and that is no good. Jalen Johnson grabbing a rebound. Trae Young coming around. He has the game's first 5 points already here. As you see Trae Young at the State Farm Arena averaging 29.2 points a game. You see Davion Mitchell with the ball crossing the half-court line. Over to Khalil Ware. Ware coming around. He's going to go to the line as Jalen Johnson called for his first personal foul. First team foul called against the Hawks here. Adebayo, though, is doubtful. They see with a strained left hip, but they said he's playing. But Tyler Hero definitely out. Same with Nikola Jovic. He is out Jovic is doubtful. But he did not play in game one, as you see missed right there by Khalil Ware. Quickly 5-0 already for the Hawks here, not even a minute into the game. Ware will sink the first one, and the Heat is on the board. Trae Young with it. He's crossing the half-court line as we are now officially 1 minute into game number 2 here at the State Farm Arena here. For this season playthrough, we are back to action here, back to making videos here. As I said, I had a little bit of a layoff. Few things going around. You see Porzingis with the layup. That's in there. He'll get his first 2 points of the game. He had 15 points in that victory. Just a little bit shy of his season average scoring at 19.1. As you can see, Adebayo has that hurt designation, but we all know 2K likes to override things. And you see Davion Mitchell for three. Speaking of Bam Adebayo, during my time that I did not get a chance to make any videos, he did have that 83-point game against the Washington Wizards in real life. We had to bring that up. Here. See Powell coming around. Back over to Pelle Larsson. Back over to Mitchell. Mitchell for the inside. It really doesn't matter. It's a miss anyway, out of bounds, and the Heat will retain possession with 14 on the shot clock here. The Heat shot 40% from the field in game number 1 and only 22% from beyond the arc. Adebayo will get his first 2 points of the game, and the Heat are within 1. The Heat did have a 7-point lead at one point early on, and it went to a back-and-forth game, and then suddenly the Hawks went on a big run to end that first quarter, as well as the first half of the second quarter held the Heat scoreless from that point on. Nearly almost a whole quarter of play, by the way, before the Heat were able to get their first points after that run. I said nearly halfway through the second quarter before the Heat got their first points in that second quarter. So the Hawks manhandled them from like over past the halfway point of the first quarter to the end of the game. A 109-78 win. Richazé over to Young. Richazé had 12 points in that victory here. So 3 minutes into the game, 7-6 Hawks on top here. 10 on the shot clock. Trae Young holding on to it. Young thought about the three, but he passes up. 5 on a shot clock over to Richazé. Richazé will miss that one off the back iron. Adebayo grabbing a rebound here. No points for the Hawks in over 2 minutes of play. Davion Mitchell. The Heat looking to try to bounce back and try to send this to a 5th game. Adebayo will miss that one. Porzingis with the rebound. Dyson Daniels has it. Over to Trae Young. Back over to Richazé for 3. No good. Khalil Ware grabbing a rebound. Got Pella Larson. Back over to Larson again. Mitchell had it. Over to Powell. Powell for three. He's going to go to the line shooting three as Richazé called for his first personal foul. That is the Hawks' second team foul already. Norman Powell had 21 points in the loss in game one. As Powell set to shoot his first of three shots at the line. And Powell will miss the first one. The Heat only had 5 free throws in total in game number one. They hit 4 or 5 as he misses the first one. Powell will sink the second one, and we are tied at 7. And now for the third one here for the Heat to take their first lead of the game. And they will, in fact, take their first lead here. That's a 7-0 run for the Heat, and we'll have our first timeout here called by the Hawks. 7:59 to play in the first. The Heat leading it by 1. We're going to take a timeout. Coming out of the timeout here, we see the Heat leading it 8-7 right now on a 7-0 run. Hawks got off to a 7-1 start, but the Heat up by 1 here as we are just over 4 minutes into the first quarter. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals between the second-seeded Hawks and the 7th-seeded Heat. Mitchell will grab the rebound off the miss here. The Hawks with a 1-0 series lead after a 109-78 win in game number 1. Adebayo coming around. He'll get the shot up. That's in there. That's Adebayo's first points of the game. And it's a 3-point lead. Or no, I think he has 4 now in this game. But it's a 3-point lead for the Heat regardless here. 7.5 to play here in the first. Trae Young holding on to it right now. Young coming around. Just shoot it back over to Johnson. Back to Richazé. Richazé for 3. No good. Larson will grab the rebound. Larson holding on back over to Mitchell. Over to Ware. 10 on the shot clock here. Larson for 3. No good. Johnson grabbing a rebound. Over to Richazé. Back over to Dyson Daniels. Richazé holding on there at the 3 outside the bucket right now. Or now got Porzingis inside. Porzingis thought about the shot. He will get the shot up. That's in there, and that will end a 9-0 run right there. That's 4 points for Kristaps Porzingis already. As I said, he had 15 points in that Game 1 victory. Adebayo coming around. 13 on the shot clock. Bam, Adebayo's shot is up. No good. Porzingis grabbing the rebound. We got Trae Young for 3. That's in there, and the Hawks are on top by 3. In 4 regular season games, we see Trae Young averaging 27.5 points in those 4 games against the Miami Heat during the regular season. As I said, he had 24 against the Heat in game number 1 in that 31-point victory. And that is a terrible alley-oop attempt here. As you see, Johnson will have as Daniels will miss that one. Johnson got that little steal off of there. Back over to Davion Mitchell, over to Pella Larson. 5.5 to play here in the first. That shot is in there, and the Heat are on top by 1 again. Richazé crossing the half-court line. Back over to Porzingis. Young. That shot is up, no good. Ware will get the rebound. Mitchell back over to Larson. Larson for 3, no good. Johnson grabbing the rebound as you see Young with it. There's a shot for 3, no good. Heat out rebounding the Hawks 9-6 right now here in the first quarter. Total rebounds in the game for the Heat was 37. They only had 2 offensive rebounds. The Hawks with 49 boards in the game number 1, 8 of them offensive rebounds. Adebayo shots up, no good. Porzingis with the rebound. 4:22 to play here in the first, and Jalen Johnson with the slam dunk, and the Hawks are on top by 1 again. Rishaze had the assist there on that bucket. Powell for 3. No good. Dyson Daniels grabbing a rebound over to Trae Young. Young with a shot. That's in there. Trae Young putting the Hawks up by 3. Under 4 to play here in the first quarter. Timeout, Heat. We're going to take another one as well with 3:51 to play in the first quarter. The Hawks leading at 16-13. We'll be back. Coming out of timeout here. Let's look at the lineup substitution here. We got Yakachonis, Wiggins, Fontecchio. We're going to get everybody in here as soon as we can here. As I say, Trae Young still out there for the Hawks right now. So we got Johnson into the lineup. Out on the court for the Heat, followed by Jaime Jaquez Jr., Fontecchio, Yakachonis. And who else is out there? You see Jaquez Jr., he's going to go to the line shooting 1. Porzingis called for his first personal foul. That's the 3rd team foul. Okongwu into the game for the Hawks. He had a double-double with 16 points and 14 rebounds in that Game 1 victory. Wiggins is in there as well as Jaquez Jr., Fontecchio, Yakachonis. As Jaquez Jr. will miss the first one here. Smith coming into the game for Johnson. So it is Smith, Yakachonis, Wiggins, and Fontecchio, as well as Jaquez, as we see Johnson, Porzingis, Okongwu. I know I mentioned his name a little bit earlier. And he'll make the second one. Alexander Walker also out there. Had 15 points as well in the game, as well as Trae Young. So that is the closest to the lineup set as I get. Trae Young for 3. That is no good. Yakachonis getting the rebound. Over to Fontecchio. Rejected. Oh, Okongwu with a block there. Good over to Trae Young. Holding on to it right now. 14 on the shot clock. And there, Young dishing it back over to Porzingis. 5 on the shot clock. Porzingis over to Young. Young for 3. No good. Yakachonis grabbing the rebound. We got Jaime Jaquez Jr. back over to Yakachonis. Yakachonis, and Wiggins almost lost it for a second. That is no good. Okongwu will grab the rebound. Alexander Walker with it. The Heat out rebounding the Hawks 11-10 right now. It's a 2-point lead for the Hawks right now, under 2.5 to play here. Trae Young, that shot is up, that's in there. It's a 4-point lead. Largest lead for the Hawks was 6 early on. They led 7-1. 3-point lead for the Heat early in this first quarter as well. Jaquez Jr. over to Wiggins. Wiggins coming around the layup. That's in there. And the Heat within 2 here. 2 minutes to play here in the first. A lower scoring first quarter, but a more closer first quarter here in game number 2. As we get over to Porzingis, back over to Johnson. Johnson for 3. No good. Fontecchio grabbing the rebound. Smith with it for the Heat. Jaquez Jr. over to Yakachonis. Yakachonis for 3. That is no good. Okongwu grabbing a rebound. Jalen Johnson with it here. Under 1.5 to play here in the first. Back over to Trae Young. Inside the paint. Dishes over to Porzingis. Young with it again here. 1:15 to play here in the first. There's a 3-pointer. That's in there. Nickeil Alexander Walker with a 3. And it's a 5-point lead for the Hawks here. 1 minute to play here in the first. 21-16, Hawks on top. Andrew Wiggins, the former number 1 pick in the draft, over to Yakachonis. Yakachonis with the layup, that's in there. 3-point game. 42 seconds to play here in the first. 18 on the shot clock. Trae Young holding on to it to Alexander Walker. Back over to Okongwu. Over to Young. Young for three. That's in there. Trae Young with a three, and the Hawks up by 6 again. 15 points already for him here in this first quarter on 6 of 10 shooting, 3 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc. In there, Jonas for three. That is no good. Johnson with the rebound. Shot clock turned off for the Hawks. Alexander Walker back over to Okongwu, over to Young. That is rejected. Alexander Walker with a shot up. That's no good. Okongwu will get the offensive rebound and the second chance points. It's an 8-point game with a .8 to play here in the first, and that will do it. We are at the end of the first quarter here in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals. It's the Hawks leading at 26-18. You're watching NBA playoffs here on VDub Productions. All set to start the second quarter here as you see Jaime Jaquez Jr. inbounding to get to Jonas. Jaime Jaquez Jr. gets it off the pass from Jonas. He'll get the first 2 points in the second quarter as you see the Heat shooting 7 of 20. Lineup set. We're going to try to get the lineup set as best as we can right there. As Guy with it. Into the lineup for Kennard. Luke Kennard for three. No good. Adebayo grabbing a rebound. So we got Adebayo, Fontecchio, Jonas, Jaquez Jr. and let's see here. As you see, 6 on the shot clock, and that is Wiggins. So that is the lineup set for the Miami Heat. Adebayo will miss that one. So we got Alexander Walker, Guy, Kennard, Okongwu. And who else is out there? As Guy coming around with the slam dunk. Nickeil Alexander Walker. I did mention him already. I mentioned Kennard. Guy. As Wiggins is over to Adebayo. Adebayo will miss that one. Okongwu will get the rebound, and that is Houston. So that was the lineup set here. Houston back over to Okongwu. Okongwu with the slam dunk, and it's a 10-point lead for the Hawks. The Hawks with 16 rebounds a game in the regular season. They had 49 in Game 1. 16 in Game 1, I should say, or in this game, but they had 49 all in Game number 1 here. So 2 minutes into the second quarter here. 30-20, the Hawks on top as Jaquez Jr. will miss that one. Houston will get the rebound. Houston initiative over to Kennard. Some Hawks players going to the scores table trying to check into the game. Alexander Walker, 5 on the shot clock. 3 on the shot clock. 2, 1. He'll get the shot up. That's no good. Adebayo grabbing a rebound. Andrew Wiggins over to Jaquez Jr. Jaquez Jr. will get the layup. And the Heat within 8. Luke Kennard over to Houston. Houston will get the layup. That's in there. And the lead is up to 10 again. Jonas holding on to it right now for the Heat. Right now, 15 on the shot clock. A little under 9 minutes of play in the second. The Hawks leading it by 10. Bam Adebayo. Coming around. That shot is no good. Okongwu grabbing the rebound. Kennard with it now. Bam Adebayo, 4 points and 3 rebounds. As I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, it's been a while since I've made videos, but the last time I made a video, Bam Adebayo between that time did get 83 points in a real-life game as Alexander Walker with the layup beating the shot clock here. We had the Hawks shooting at 48%. They shot 53% in Game 1 as we have a timeout by the Heat. First timeout called in the second quarter. We're going to take a timeout as well with 8:19 to play in the second. The Hawks up by 12. We are coming out of timeout here with the Hawks leading at 34-22 here. Norman Powell coming into the game for the Miami Heat. Are checking back into the game for the Heat. And for the Hawks, we have Young, Daniels. Is that Kevin Huerter now into the game? No, Huerter is actually a Bull. Never mind. Adebayo on the court. Wiggins still on the court. Wiggins will get the layup there, and the lead is up to 10. Our lead is down to 10 again. Trae Young, I know, checks back into the game. The first time we'll see him in this second quarter here. 4 minutes into the second quarter. 34-24 Hawks. This game coming to you from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, as Richazé will get the three-pointer there. I am Vinny from vdubproductions. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. As Norman Powell will get the bucket there, bringing the Hawks lead only to 11. As I said, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do drop. And also, there will be a link to my Cash App in the description down below. It is not required for you to donate to my Cash App, but any amount is appreciated, though. As we're back to action here, as we're 5 minutes into the second quarter. Powell with the bucket, and the Heat are within 9. We look at the Heat averaging 24.9 assists a game. They have 11 so far. They had 19 in all at game number 1. Even though they are trailing in this game, it tells you they are having a little bit of a better game, too, to start off here in this first half. As Trae Young, that shot is no good. Adebayo grabbing a rebound. Norman Powell here with 6.5 to play in the first half. Hawkins Jr. back to Fontecchio, over to Adebayo. Adebayo for Powell. He'll get that one up. Hawkins Jr. for 3. No good. Okongwu grabbing the rebound. As I said, Okongwu is the only player on either team to have a double-double with 16 points and 14 rebounds. Big part of the Hawks' 31-point victory here. Ziggy. 7 on the shot clock. Back over to Richazé. Richazé for 3. No good. Powell grabbing a rebound. Halfway through the second quarter now. Zachary Richazé only 1 of 6 shooting. 3 points and 1 assist. Norman Powell for 3. No good. Gee will get the rebound over to Daniels. Dyson Daniels back over to Trae Young. Trae Young will get the shot up. No good. Norman Powell grabbing a rebound. Back over to Andrew Wiggins. Over to Norman Powell. Wiggins. And he'll lose it as Gee will get the steal. Trae Young over to Daniels. Daniels with a slam dunk. And a lead up to 11 again for the Hawks. Got the Heat shooting 11 of 30 to 17 of 37 for the Hawks. Powell with it. Over to Adebayo. With under 5 to play until halftime here. 7 on the shot clock. Adebayo to Hawkins Jr. Hawkins Jr. for 3. That's in there. Timeout, Hawks. 4:48 to play in the second quarter. We're going to take a timeout as well. The Hawks leading at 39-31. Coming out of the timeout here. 4:48 to play. Mitchell, Larson, Powell, Hawkins Jr. And where is the lineup set for the Heat and for the Hawks? Young, Daniels, Richazé, Johnson, and Porzingis. So that is a lineup set. I was able to get both lineup sets very quickly. 16 on the shot clock for the Hawks, leading it by 8. Trae Young for 3. That's in there. And the lead up to 11 again. They led by as many as 12. Davion Mitchell crossing the half-court line. His team up by 11, or trailing by 11. Over to Mitchell. Mitchell back over to Hawkins Jr. for 3. That is no good. Richazé grabbing the rebound. Richazé back over to Young. 15 on the shot clock. Jalen Johnson with it. Dish it over to Porzingis. Porzingis with a slam dunk. It's a 13-point lead for the Hawks. As I said, he's averaging 19.1 points a game. He had 15 in game number 1. Under 4 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Larson. Over to Mitchell. Mitchell for 3. No good. Porzingis with the rebound. Over to Daniels. Back over to Richazé. Back over to Porzingis. Porzingis to Daniels. Daniels for 3. That's in there. It's a 16-point lead for the Hawks. The Hawks look like they want to pull away in this game. They don't want to pull any punches. Powell for three, no good. They don't want to be like how the Timberwolves were at home. And there's another three-pointer by Dyson Daniels. It's a 19-point lead. Timeout, Heat. We are going to take another one as well with 2:52 to play in the second quarter. The Hawks leading it by 19. We'll be back. Coming out of timeout here. Look at the Heat lineup. We got Mitchell, Larson, Powell, Wiggins, and Ware. So that is the only lineup set that we have for either team right now. 2:52 to play the second. 20 on the shot clock as Wiggins inbounding it over to Larson. Team trailing by 19. Powell for three. No good. By the way, it is currently an 11-0 run right now. Make that a 13-0 run by the Hawks. As we see the Hawks out rebounding the Heat 25-17. As I said, the Hawks had 49 rebounds in game number one. They have 25 already. Wiggins, no good, but there's an offensive rebound by Ware and a slam dunk for some second chance points. That puts it into that 13-0 run. Hawks lead down to 19 again as we're down to the final 2 minutes of the first half. Young for three. No good. Khalil Ware grabbing a rebound. Trae Young with 18 points, 7-16 shooting overall, 4-9 from beyond the arc. Larson back over to Wiggins. 10 on the shot clock. Powell for three. No good. Johnson grabbing a rebound. See Trae Young with it. Crossing the half-court line. Trae Young misses that shot. Khalil Ware will grab the rebound here under a minute and a half to play here in the second. Over to Norman Powell. Powell back to Larson. Larson for three. No good. Richard grabbing a rebound. Over to Young. Holding on to it right now. 1 minute to play here in the first. Until halftime, I should say. Trae Young coming around. Back over to Richard. Richard with a jumper. That is no good. Ware will grab the rebound. Powell with it, 5 points. Richard only has 5 points on 2 of 8 shooting. As I said, he had 12 in game one. Ware will miss that one. Richard will get the rebound here. Under 30 seconds to play until halftime. The Hawks up by 19 here in game two of this Eastern Conference Quarterfinals of this season playthrough. Porzingis back to Richard. Richard for three. No good. Khalil Ware with the rebound. Shot clock turned off. Larson. Over to Wiggins. Wiggins with the shot. That is off the back iron. Porzingis grabbing the rebound. 5 seconds to play. Richard will get the three-point shot up. No good, and that will do it. We reach halftime, and the Hawks leading it 52-33 over the Miami Heat. This is game two of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals here in the season playthrough. I am Vinny from vdubproductions, and we are going to send it to halftime. We will see you in the second half. getting ready to start the second half. It is 52-33, the Hawks on top. We look at Trae Young having a pretty solid first half, leading the way for the Hawks. And it's been a dominant effort. I mean, it was a closer first quarter, I'll say that, but as you see the Heat inbounding it here, trailing by 19, but the Hawks definitely dominate that second quarter. As we see Mitchell, Larson, Ware, Powell, and Adebayo out on the court. As we also say, we have Rishaze, Young, Daniels. As there's a three by Jalen Johnson there. So Young, Daniels, Rishaze, Johnson, and Porzingis out on the court to start the second half. It's a 22-point lead, largest of the game by the Hawks. And there is a reach-in foul called against Jalen Johnson. That's his second personal. And the first team foul called against the Hawks here in this third quarter here. 16 on the shot clock for the Heat. Mitchell, this should have back over to Khalil Ware, back to Bam Adebayo. Adebayo, and that is stolen by Porzingis. Back over to Dyson Daniels. Daniels, back over to Johnson, and Johnson with the slam dunk. It's a 24-point lead. Jalen Johnson with 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting, plus 24 out on the court here as we're 1 minute into the third quarter. Powell for three. No good. Dyson Daniels will get the rebound. Daniels over to Trae Young. They should hit back over to Porzingis. Porzingis over to Daniels. Daniels for three. No good. Khalil Ware grabbing a rebound. We got Donovan Mitchell. Over to Larson. Back over to Powell. Powell back to Adebayo. Adebayo over to Mitchell. Mitchell for three. No good. And there is a loose ball foul called against Trae Young. So it will retain possession for the Miami Heat, or will the Hawks actually get it? Nope. Possession going back to the Heat. Fresh 24 also as they inbound it. You see Mitchell. Over to Bam Adebayo. Over to Powell. Powell for three. That's in there. The lead down to 21 for the Hawks. Norman Powell had 9 points in that first half. Now he has 12 total for this game as Rishaze with it back over to Young. Over 2 minutes into the third quarter, 57-36. Young for three, no good. Khalil Ware grabbing the rebound. This is game 2 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals. The Hawks leading it 1-0. As you see, Khalil Ware will get the bucket there, and the lead is now down to 19 as we have 2.5 into the third quarter. Dyson Daniels. Over to Rishaze. Back over to Jalen Johnson here, 13 on the shot clock. Over to Young. Young for three. That's in there. And the lead up to 22. Trae Young really having a game right now. As I said, for the purposes of this season playthrough, as for this project, the trade deadline passed before the actual trade, before he was actually traded. Adebayo with the slam dunk. The Heat only shooting 34% in this game. They shot 40% in game 1. The Hawks with 48% shooting. They shot 53% in game 1. Young for three. No good. Khalil Ware with the rebound. Davion Mitchell. They shoot it back over to Adebayo. I said Adebayo, as I mentioned a couple times, in real life had 83 points scored in one game. Beat Kobe Bryant's record for the second most points ever scored in the game. 17 shy of Wilt Chamberlain's. Which Wilt Chamberlain is the only player to score 100 points in a game. That's still an NBA record. Porzingis. No, that was not Porzingis. It doesn't matter anyway. It's a miss right there. Larson holding on to it right now. 16 on the shot clock. Over to Norman Powell. 8 on the shot clock. Norman Powell. There's a shot up. No good. Johnson grabbing the rebound. Over to Dyson Daniels. Back over to Trae Young. Five on the shot clock. Over to Porzingis. Porzingis with the layup is in there, and the lead is up to 22. Khalil Ware with the slam dunk, and the lead back to 20. As I said, this game coming to you from the State Farm Arena here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am Vinny from vdubproductions. You are watching an NBA 2K presenting my season playthrough here. We're in the middle of the first round of the NBA playoffs. As you see, Ware with another bucket there as the Hawks lead is on to 18. This is game 2 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals. The Hawks up 1-0. If you like what you see, don't forget that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out here. As you see, Khalil Ware will get the rebound off the miss. Back over to Powell. Norman Powell with the layup. That is no good. Dyson Daniels grabbing the rebound. Over to Trae Young. 18-point lead for the Hawks right now. I believe they led by as many as 24. And there's a shot up. That's in there. And the lead up to 21 again. Halfway through the third quarter. 65-44. Hawks on top. The Hawks looking to try to take both games at home. That's Adebayo coming around. They shoot it back over to Powell. Powell for three. No good. I believe that's Adebayo with the offensive rebound. He misses that one. Back over to Rishaze, over to Johnson, over to Trae Young. Kristaps Porzingis. Being guarded by Khalil Ware, but he dishes over to Trae Young, and that is a 3-second violation against the Heat, or against the Hawks, and the Heat will get possession of it here. Andrew Wiggins coming into the game as Larson taking a seat. Powell moving to shooting guard. And let's see, for the Hawks, Young taking a break as Dyson Daniels will be moving to the point guard position. Nickeil Alexander-Walker into the game now. Under 5 to play here. 21-point lead for the Hawks. See Alexander-Walker with it. He had 15 points in that Game 1 victory. Rishaze coming around. Rishaze with a slam dunk. And the lead up to 23. I believe that might be the largest lead. I think maybe even 24. I have to recheck everything. Adebayo. Over to Davion Mitchell. Mitchell, that is stolen by Porzingis off that alley-oop attempt. Dyson Daniels. Rishaze holding on to it right now. Over to Porzingis. 9 on the shot clock. Porzingis coming around. He'll get the bucket in. It's a 25-point lead, and I believe that is the largest lead of the game. Kristaps Porzingis with 10 points. All 10 of them in the paint. Powell. That shot is no good. And speaking of points in the paint, the Hawks had 56 points in the paint. Over to Alexander Walker. The Hawks as a team in Game 1 had 56 points in the paint. 3.5 to play. Porzingis once again with a bucket. The lead is up to 27. He now has 12, and he is shooting perfect from the field right now in 26 minutes of play. And there, Powell for three. No good. Johnson grabbing a rebound. You can definitely tell that this Hawks team this Heat team is being outmatched right now. Yeah, they looked a little bit better in that first quarter, but you see Johnson with the slam dunk, and we have a timeout by the Heat called. 2:58 to play in the third. We're going to take a timeout as well. It's a 29-point lead for the Hawks. Coming out of the timeout here. Let's see. You got Yakachionis, Wiggins, Fontecchio, Jaquez Jr. That went a little bit too fast. So let's look at the Hawks lineup here. We have Kennard, Alexander Walker, and that went a little too fast as well. So Yakachionis taking the inbound from Fontecchio. Andrew Wiggins still out on the court. Jaquez Jr., and that will be a shooting foul called against Alexander Walker. That's his first personal, and the second team foul called against the Heat. Wiggins will go to the line, shooting 2. 29-point lead, the largest of the game. Let's look at points off of assists. 53 points off of assists. 11 3-pointers made by the Hawks here. Big part of the reason why the lead is 28 right now. So we have Johnson, Hawkes Jr., Wiggins, Fontecchio, and Yakachionis. That is the lineup set here as we have Porzingis, Alexander Walker, Kennard. Who else is out there? I believe that is Gee. And Houston. So that's the lineup set. As you see, that's a steal by Johnson here. Wiggins with it now. Over to Fontecchio. Fontecchio tried to drive it to the hoop, but he passes over to Yakachionis. Over to Jaime Jaquez Jr. here. 12 on the shot clock. Over to Wiggins. Wiggins for 3. That's in there. And the Hawks lead is down to 24. Kennard dishes back over to Gee. And he has it. And you see the Hawks 32 of 62 shooting compared to 19 of 58 for the Heat. We got Andrew Wiggins up by 26 here. Wiggins dish it over to Fontecchio. Fontecchio for 3. No good. Guille with the rebound. Luke Kennard over to Nickeil Alexander Walker. Back over to Houston. Houston for 3. No good. Yakachionis with the rebound. 1:13 to play in the third quarter. 75-49. Hawks on top. Yakachionis, look at that, just flexing his muscle. But you know what? You're still down by 24 with a minute to play in the third. Alexander Walker. And that's stolen by Johnson. Yeah, Wiggins with it. Wiggins back over to Yakachionis. And there, Fontecchio for 3. No good. Porzingis grabbing the rebound. Alexander Walker. Turn around, dish it over to Houston. Houston for 3. That's in there. And the lead up to 27 again. 27.2 to play here in the third. Yakachionis over to Wiggins. Wiggins, and that's going to be an and one opportunity here. Alexander Walker called for his second personal foul. 13 foul called against the Heat. Or for the Hawks, I should say. We will be back in the Eastern Conference tomorrow. Or for the next game, I should say. Where we have game 2 of the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks, with the Pistons as the 8th seed and the Knicks as the top seed here. We got substitutions coming on as we have Trae Young and Okongwu checking back into the game. So the Pistons and the Knicks the next game. Game 2 coming from Madison Square Garden. The Knicks took game 1 108-103. And what was a very close game. Though the Pistons only had to lead once in that game. You see the Heat shooting 4-7 right now from the line. Trailing by 25 here. Young can hold on to this right now. They could actually basically have a 2-for-1 if they wanted to hold on to the last shot, because they will get the inbound to start the fourth quarter. Kennard for 3. That's in there. 28-point lead. Yakachionis will just hold on to it, and that will do it for the third quarter here. It's been all Hawks since late in the first quarter. They lead at 81-53. We'll be back to start the fourth quarter here on vdubproductions. Before we start the fourth quarter, we have the State Farm assist of the game, and that looks like that's going to go to Trae Young. And it will be Trae Young in the State Farm assist of the game here. 81-53 as we see Okongwu inbounding it to Young. Lee Kennard is still out there. Trae Young for three. That is no good. So it's Young, Kennard, Okongwu, Alexander Walker, and Guy. So we have Yakuchunas, Andrew Wiggins, Fontecchio, Adebayo, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. That is the lineup set to start the fourth quarter for the Miami Heat here. 8 on the shot clock. Adebayo coming around. Adebayo will get the bucket in there and the lead down to 26. The Hawks led by as many as 29 points. The Heat had an early 3-point lead. And the last time they led was 13-12. Young coming around, no good. Yakuchonis will get the rebound. They shoot it over to Jaquez Jr. Jaquez Jr. with the slam dunk. Jaime Jaquez Jr. And the lead down to 24. Trae Young holding on to it. He'll shoot the three. That is no good. Adebayo grabbing a rebound. We got Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins coming around. Layup. That's in there. A 6-0 run to start off the fourth quarter here in the first minute and a half. The Heat within 22. Alexander Walker over to Guy. Guy with the slam dunk. And they'll lead up to 24 again for the Hawks. Looking to try to go up 2-0 in this series. They want to defend home court. And they're Fontecchio for three. That is no good. Wiggins will get the offensive rebound. And we'll get it up for the second chance points. They only had 5 second chance points for the Hawks for the Heat in game number 1. Trailing by 22 right now here as we are almost 2.5 minutes into the fourth quarter. Young for three, no good. Fontecchio grabbing a rebound. Crossing the half-court line over to Yakuchonis. Bam Adebayo. Pushing over to Wiggins. Wiggins over to Adebayo. Adebayo with the slam dunk, and it's a 20-point game. A 10-2 run to start the fourth quarter here. And the lead only down to 20. As Trae Young puts the lead back up to 23. Yakuchonis holding on to it right now here. 8:45 to play in the fourth. Jaquez Jr. for three. No good. Kennard will get the rebound. Trae Young holding on to it, being guarded by Yakuchonis. 10 on the shot clock here in the fourth quarter. Over to Alexander Walker. Walker from the paint. No good. Okongwu getting the offensive rebound. Shot clock at 10 again. Young for two. That's in there. And it's back to a 25-point lead for the Atlanta Hawks. Yakuchonis grabbing the rebound. Oh, that was almost stolen there. That went off the foot of Trae Young, but the Heat were able to recover it. Wiggins coming around with the layup. That's in there. Andrew Wiggins, he has 17 points, 10 of them in the paint. Timeout, Hawks. We're going to take one as well with 7:40 to play. Here in the fourth quarter, the Hawks leading it by 23. Coming out of the timeout here, let's look at the Heat lineup set here. Yakuchonis, Powell, Wiggins, Jaquez Jr., and Adebayo. And for the Hawks, oh, that was Heat, I said. Now for the Hawks, Young, Daniels, Richazé, Johnson, and couldn't quite get that one off. So Johnson will inbound into Porzingis. So I think that was Porzingis that I missed. So that is actually the lineup set for both teams here. Coming out of that timeout, 7.5 to play. Porzingis will miss that one. Yakuchonis will grab the rebound. Turn around for Yakuchonis. Back over to Jaquez Jr. Jaquez Jr. coming around with a slam dunk, too. And the Heat within 21. Dyson Daniels Back over to Porzingis. Porzingis for three. No good. Hawkes Jr. with the rebound. Under 7 to play here in the fourth. 88-67. The Hawks leading it. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals. Coming to you from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. You see Norman Powell missed that three-pointer. Richazé will grab the rebound. I am Vinny from vdubproductions. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. And there is a link to my Cash App in the description down below. Remember, it is not required for you to donate to my Cash App for you to enjoy my content, but donations would be appreciated. As you see, Daniels coming around with the layup. The lead up to 23 again. They led by as many as 29. As we're approaching the halfway point of the fourth quarter. And right now, the Hawks are poised to go to South Beach, leading the series 2-0. 3 series so far are guaranteed to reach a Game 5. You see Adebayo with the layup. Only one in the Eastern Conference so far, and that is the Bucks and the Pacers. And you see there's a three-pointer right there where that's missed by Young. As you see, the Pacers took Game 1, but then the Bucks came back and won big against the Pacers. That is the only series that go into a Game 5. Powell will miss that one as Richazé will miss the rebound. And then we have the Nuggets and the Nuggets and Rockets are going to a Game 5, as well as the Lakers and Timberwolves, as both teams split the first 2 games there. Wiggins with the layup, and it's only a 19-point game with 5 minutes to play. And there's a slam dunk right there. Trae Young. Or no, that's not Trae Young. That's Kristaps Porzingis. What the heck am I talking about there? As you see, Adebayo holding on to it right now. 10 on the shot clock. Adebayo, what an awkward shot. That would have been something that would have went in. But Porzingis will grab the rebound there off the miss. Dyson Daniels over to Porzingis. Porzingis with a slam dunk. And the lead up to 23. As I said, the closest the Hawks have been in the second half. I see Adebayo here, and there's a jump ball right there. So we're going to see Bam Adebayo and Kristaps Porzingis go to the circle right there for a jump. Johnson will win and will get the tip off. So Porzingis will win the tip. Johnson had it for a second, but now it's Wiggins with the steal. Wiggins coming around. Back over to Powell. Powell back to Adebayo, over to Yakachionis. Powell for 3. No good. Richazé will get it there. 3:40 to play here in the fourth. And the Hawks up by 23. Young for 3. No good. Adebayo grabbing a rebound. Over to Wiggins. Wiggins back to Yakachionis. Over to Adebayo. Adebayo to Norman Powell. Powell coming around. Back over to Wiggins. 6 on the shot clock. 5 on the shot clock. Over to Adebayo. Adebayo for 3. No good. Johnson grabbing the rebound. We got Trae Young with it. Under 3 minutes to play here in the fourth. Young coming around. Layup. That's in there. Trae Young putting the Hawks up by 25. He has 28 in this game. 6 of them mid-range. 96-71. Hawkes Jr. for 3. And he got it. Jaime Hawkes Jr. with 15 points in this game. 7 of them here in the fourth quarter. Over to Porzingis. 14 on the shot clock. Porzingis shot, that's in there. 98-74. Yakachionis with it as we see some more players heading to the scorers table as we're approaching 2 minutes to play here in game number 2. Norman Powell with the layup, that's in there. Hawkes will get the assist. Trae Young holding on to it. As I said, though, for the purposes of the stream, or this season playthrough, he's still a Hawk. Same with Porzingis. We know they were traded in real life. Trae Young. There's a jump shot in there. No good. Norman Powell grabbing the rebound here. A minute and a half to play here in the fourth. Yakachionis. Back over to Wiggins. Or no, that's Powell. Powell missed that one. Porzingis grabbing the rebound. Over to Rishaze. Dishing it back over to Dyson Daniels. Daniels over to Porzingis. Porzingis. That shot is up. No good. Hawkes Jr. will get the rebound here as we got Yakachionis. Back over to Yakachionis here. Under a minute to play here in the fourth. 98-76. Powell. That shot is up and that is no good. Porzingis grabbing the rebound. Over to Trae Young. Young. Back over to Rishaze. Back over to Daniels. Daniels with a jumper. That is in there. Dyson Daniels with a shot. And the Hawks have reached the century mark. Shot clock is turned off. Will the Heat get one more shot? They might. They're looking like they're trying to get at least their last points. A little bit of a better effort, I'll say this, on the Hawks part, or on the Heat part, but they failed to score 80 points in both games, and that will do it. The Hawks running away with this one, 100-76. They take a 2-0 lead as this series will shift back to South Beach. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be back for the post-game player statistics as we look at Trae Young being interviewed. Time to look at the post-game player statistics, starting off with the victorious Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young led all scorers with 28 points. He had 9 assists. Kristaps Porzingis, the player of the game, but he had a double-double with 18 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. Dyson Daniels with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Zachary Rishaze, 10.6 rebounds and an assist. Jalen Johnson had 9 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Mohamed Gaye, or is it Gaye or Gaye or Gee? Well, he had 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. Nikhil Alexander Walker, 5 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. Caleb Houston, 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Oneyka Okongwu, who had a double-double in Game 1, but he only had 4 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist and a block in Game 2. Luke Kennard, 3 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. And then we have Nafali Dante, Asa Newell, Kobe Buffkin, Nikola Jurisic, and Vit Krejci did not play for the Miami Heat. And now for the Miami Heat. They were led by Andrew Wiggins with 19 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Jaime Jaquez Jr., 15 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. So that's 34 points combined off the bench. Norman Powell, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Bam Adebayo with 12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Khalil Ware with 9 points, but he had 15 rebounds and 2 assists. Kasparis Yakachionis, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Davion Mitchell with only 3 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Pelle Larsson, only 2 rebounds and 1 assist. Simone Fontecchio only had 2 rebounds in the game. Drew Smith only had 1 block in 4 minutes of play. Kashid Johnson, 1 steal. And anybody who was eligible to play for the Miami Heat did play in this game. And that is it for your post-game player statistics for this game, too. And as I said, the next game coming up, we stay in the Eastern Conference. This time we have the top seeded New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference hosting the Detroit Pistons, the 8th seed. Game 2 taking place at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks won Game 1 108-103 in what was a very close game from the start. I mean, but the Pistons, they only had one lead once, and that was a 1-point lead. That was a brief lead, and then the Knicks never trailed from that point on. And that will do it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do drop. As well as don't forget, everybody, that I do have a link to my Cash App in the description down below. Once again, it is not required for you to donate to my Cash App to enjoy my content, but donations are very well appreciated. But then again, watching this video and hitting that like and subscribing, that also helps this channel out a lot. I am trying to get back into making these content very on a consistent basis. I am hoping to be at least halfway done with the first round, or at least have a couple of series wrapped up before the actual NBA playoffs start in about 3 weeks' time or so. And with that, I want to remind everybody the final score of the game: the Hawks defeat the Heat 100-76. They lead the series 2-0 as that series is heading back to Miami. I am Vinny from vdubproductions, and I am signing off.